Welcome to Collage of Health. If you're here for the first time, welcome. This channel is about all collage style information that comes in for our health and well-being from a mind, body, and or spiritual perspective. And over the last couple of months, I've shared in what I call Akashic weather reports, information that I get in the Akash each day. And in the last several days, I've gotten kind of conflicting information in terms of where I should take the trajectory of this channel. And one day I really just received like very high vibe, very positive, optimistic information that made me think that maybe I should just kind of step out of the third dimensional muck and really focus on how we can create our world. And I do feel that there will be many more of these types of videos coming up where we can create our own reality. I had a really cool experience the other day where I was flying home from upstate New York where some of my family members live, and I was visiting a sick family member, and my flight was, quote, delayed. At least that was what came up over the loudspeaker. And it was really going to put a monkey wrench into my plans, especially since my dog was going to be by himself because my dog sitter was leaving to go to another dog sitting job. So instead of getting really upset about it, I just took this situation and handed it to Mother Mary and said, I can't deal with this right now. I can't think about it. I'm 100% letting it go. And I 100% let the situation go. A moment later, I got a text from the friend of mine who watches my dog, and she said she could stay a couple extra hours. Then I got a text from my brother who was going to come from an hour away to help me with my dog, saying that it looked like my flight was on time. And then I went up to the gate. I was very confused because we were actually boarding. And I asked one of the flight attendants if we were delayed, that it just seemed confusing because I heard something over the intercom saying we were delayed. And she was puzzled. She said no. I asked a couple that I saw, man and woman, and they were like, no, they hadn't heard anything. And then there was a young boy who had glasses on, he had big eyes, and he was nervously playing with his phone. And I said, did you hear on the loudspeaker that we were delayed, that the incoming flight from Charlotte was going to be delayed over an hour? And he said, yes, he had heard that. And he had reached out to his brother to let his brother know. And it was going to kind of cause a monkey wrench in his plans. So I almost wondered if, like, I was able, in letting it totally go, create through the divine another reality that was much more advantageous, not only to me, but to this young guy. Or maybe he created the reality, or maybe we were both in it in our own realities where we went to a different dimensional scene than the one that we had been in. So I'm getting the sense in the Akash, especially today, that things are shifting. I mean, they're astrologically shifting right now. We're really moving into another whole planetary system with the outer planet, or used to be planet Pluto, going into Aquarius for the next 20 years. And that happened a couple of days ago, where we ushered into this next 20-year period, at least with this planetary system. And but in addition to that, excuse me, in the Akash, I got a sense today that we could really start to create our own reality in different ways than we've been doing. So that leads me to say, what I want to say next is I'm a little bit unsure about what I'm going to put out there next, because it's more of a third dimensional it's from more of a third dimensional paradigm than what I just spoke of. it's about why I think that the hurricane wasn't an accident, was not an accident, that hit Asheville specifically, and other parts of the area, parts of Florida that Helene hit, and South Carolina, et cetera, Tennessee. I don't think it was 100% an accident. I think that it was in part man-made. And the reason I want to discuss this is because I really think it's important that as we look to create new realities, we need to hold truths about other realities. So that's, I guess, where I'm coming from today and making this video, that um, it's kind of like I don't even need to do anything about what I think happened. I just need to hold that truth and put it out there and give other people the opportunity, if they so choose, to hold that truth and to follow their own dharma, their own given guides and light. And I think that the more we hold truths of what is occurring on maybe other planes of this existence that don't have our highest interests at heart, like I think we have a lot of different truths happening at once. Um, but I think that in holding some of these nefarious truths, it's enough to just illuminate them and bring them out into the light. So that, I guess, that is what I am hoping from doing this video. I wanted to say something else about that, and I'm just trying to think of, so the first thing I wanted to start with, okay, now I remember what I wanted to say. So I guess I was thinking about, well, what's a good example of what I'm trying to say? And what I thought about was one of my grandmothers. My mother had told me that my grandmother, her mother, had like, for whatever reason, very strong suspicions about one of my cousins, my distant cousins, stealing from her. Like, I think that this cousin took something of hers, and she said to them, "I know who took it, and you know who took it." And then I guess they didn't say anything. This cousin didn't say anything. Oh, I don't know how she knew, but she's kind of witchy, or she was kind of witchy too. My mom's kind of witchy. I think we have this, I don't know, this ability to like hone out uh lies or untruths or whatever. Maybe it's just part of our dharma. Um, but she just said that to this cousin, and she didn't ask for them to give back whatever they took. She didn't tell their mother. She didn't do anything about it except saying to this youngin, whoever this youngin was. I actually know who the youngin was, but we don't have to get into that. Um, just saying to them, like, I know who took it and you know who took it. And that was it. And I don't know if it was a deterrent for them. I don't even know if they really did it, but that's the story I'm going to start with. So anyway, when I first heard about cloud seeding, I was thinking of it as a kind of a conspiracy theory that was out there, and I didn't actually want to believe it. Like, I didn't want to believe that anything could have happened in Asheville that was purposeful, that was of that magnitude. But then in going back through the Akashic weather reports that I put out, that I write, when I go into the Akash, I write all the information I get, and I often get it as like big bits and pieces of information that doesn't necessarily fit together as it comes through. So what I'm going to read to you, I do want to let you know, it's going to be pulled, extrapolated from other pieces that foul it, that do not support directly what has been said previously. As a matter of fact, there was a piece that came up, which I related to an Orange Street New England house where I think that there's trafficking. And what came through was the cavalry was going to go and save the people. And I think it was almost like wishful thinking on my part of the people in this Orange Street house that were going to be saved, which I actually did say, I think in the next video or even in that video. I think there's some wishful thinking going on here. I think it had related to the hurricane. So what I'm going to read to you is extrapolated, but it is verbatim of information that I wrote down. So it's extrapolated from pieces of days of information that I've just kind of pulled forward that all could fit in with information that made me think that the hurricane wasn't all an accident or a natural disaster. Also, one of the things that came up was a dream I had back in August, on August 28th, which was about a month before the hurricane. I had a dream the cabal poisoned our waterways. You could see it as if it happened from on the top. So, and indeed, if cloud seeding did spur the prolific storm that happened, it indeed, the storm did poison our waterways. And you know, who knows that that'll ever be exactly how it had been before the North Fork water system was disrupted. So I'm going to turn my camera off. What I have here is basically a month's worth of pieces of Akashic information that came through to me that's all out on video. You can watch all the videos and you can kind of extrapolate this information to yourself if you wanted to do that. And my purpose, I guess, today is to say we're moving on. We're hopefully going to higher grounds. We're manifesting our new reality as we hold truths that resonate with our own souls about what has happened in our recent past and eons before. So yeah, let's get looking at these notes. I'm going to turn my camera off and take it from there. So back in August 28th, in the Akash, I had written, they are coming to rescue the people in the house. Now, this is what I, at that point in time, thought it had to do with the New England house where it came through that there was child trafficking. Who, I ask? The Calvary. I was given a wink. They will rescue the people in the house. Rest assured, a boat coming to shore, a metamorphic and literal boat. Muddy waters will clear soon. And then Enki showing me the spaceship and the plotting. And I was hovering in outer space. I see like Nazi troops. Should I prepare with suburban preparedness? I ask, like water. And they say, prepare in your heart. And then they give me information about this, that the cavalry is here. You and your loved ones will be protected, which indeed I was. We wish you no harm. Rodents scurrying about. The dog days are upon you. I see militant soldiers marching in. Lust for Tomorrowlands. You cannot prepare for what is coming, pray. I see a dirty pond, wastelands. This is a final residue of they say this is a final residue of the old order. I see something positive. I asked to see something positive at this point, and I'm given the visual of spring waters coming up from the earth that are clear. And I see a well of hope and water. So just to let you know, in Asheville, just to reiterate, the water really was the biggest issue other than the damage to, the damage to not only property, but the loss of lives and businesses. But the most prevailing issue was the water from the storm destroyed the infrastructure of the water line that North Fork that runs from the Miami area to Asheville. And the water has been, murky and dirty, so to speak, with E. coli and other issues for the last 2 months up until a few days ago, when, ironically, when Pluto entered Aquarius from Capricorn is when now the water is, quote, drinkable. Truth will be found, this is a couple days later, in hidden places. Look carefully at your life for truths that want to be revealed to you. Find it in your heart to forgive trespasses against you. There are multiple timelines playing out at once. Step into the best one. Let the dark forces be a mirage that isn't real, which is really interesting. This piece that came to me not only came to me, but also, of course, to anyone who is listening to this, who, is affected by this, this storm. In that, you know, in that I wrote this, I almost wonder if it in some ways protected me from the horrific nature of the storm. And I'm not implying that we can just, step out of our karma or, whatever's going to happen to us, or, it's our fault that we lose water. I don't mean to imply that forcefully, but I guess I do mean to imply that our mind is much more powerful than we realize. And there is this quantum entanglement that has occurred and continues to occur, where we parlay with our karmic path and others. But there is potentiality where we can bring to light what's happening in such a way as to choose to step into that paradigm or not. So maybe somehow I was able to step out of the paradigm because I was extremely fortunate, and who knows? It may have just been Leela, luck. It could have been karma. It could have been none of the above. I don't know. Let the dark forces be a mirage that isn't real. The weather report for today, and I'm adding the word today, September 3rd, is cloudy conditions. The doomsdayers were correct. This is on September 6th. The preppers have prepared. Mark this day and time. Carolinas, I see a wind, rain, storm. There are chains of denial that most of you are holding. It's time to remove the chains. Your world needs the perfection from which it is made. Have faith, for the Tomorrowlands are even greater than you deserve or desire. And then I got a sense that was Elijah. Peace will be had on your earth. And then for anyone who's watched the videos, you might remember that Precision Auto Body came up. And I was very, very puzzled why this place I take my car came up. And in retrospect, I think it's because they probably became very, very busy with people who had to bring their car there, because many trees ended up falling on cars here in Asheville. So after Precision Auto Body, stormy seas, angry seas, write it down. Your planet will go through alchemical processes. Great seas, this is the next couple of days later, a day later. Great seas, turbulent soon. The wind will pick up take cover, stay indoors for a time when this happens. Feels temporary. The plate glass windows of hope will shatter, but do not despair. All will be eventually well. And then the next day, the dark ages are coming to an end soon. Rejoice. There's hope for all. The swamplands of despair cannot stay. The flow of love that will overcome it. You have agency to turn the ship to shore. Don't stay too long. Make decisions and move on. Then the following day, plotting spaceships, silver bullet. And in the cloud seeding, what they use is like silver rain, or I'm sorry, silver oxide, I think it is, that they put, they spray down, which manipulates the weather. And this sounds very, I don't know, it sounds, it's like a conspiracy that they're manipulating the weather. But if you actually look up cloud seeding, it's just a norm of what is done in this country and other parts of the world. We do it for many different reasons. There's even recreational reasons it's done. So cloud seeding indeed is a thing. Silver bullet, it's interesting, is something that's shot out of these planes that it's not called a bullet, but it's silver. That manipulates the weather in such a way that is supposed to be in our best interest. The dark web, more will unfold with time. Then September 11th, and also I think around the 10th, I didn't see it. I must have missed it in my writing, but I remember on one of the videos, I talk about crystal rain, blue rain. So I thought that was interesting. On 9/11, Enki says the play is just about to start. The curtains will open, dark shattering any hope we will go back. There's a dark shattering of any hope that we will be able to go back to the old. I see troops marching in. I ask about the fourth quarter. They say fires burning in the street. And then they say the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And again, cloud seeding was first done in Vietnam on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Back then on September 9th, I had no idea why the Ho Chi Minh Trail was coming up or even remembering what it was until I researched it as being the trail in Vietnam. And then later, when I heard about cloud seeding, I went down the rabbit hole and found out that the Ho Chi Minh Trail was the first place it was used. Then I write in the Akash Trail of Tears. And if you really think about what happened in Asheville, specifically in the Asheville area, the greater Asheville area, it was kind of like the Trail of Tears, if in fact it was a purposeful assault on us, in that people were basically had to walk away from their land. I mean, it certainly wasn't like the Trail of Tears where they had to march across the country and, in that way. But there is a similarity of powers that be wanting to take land and people losing what they had because of it. Then I continue to write from the Akash, hold on to your hat. You cannot flee what is coming. And then the red pill comes up. The red pill, so to speak, I write, it's given to us. I don't want to come down from this cloud. It's a song, which is, kind of interesting. Then on the 12th, the apocalypse time, dark forces are upon you. And I'm afraid, and I say, should I move? And they say yes, but then they tell me you have time. High-level government officials, plotting, conspiracy, seeds of change, contaminated water, marshlands, Zurich money exchange behind the scenes. And then they say to me, pray for those who will not see, who do not have eyes, for their limitations are great. Then swimming upstream, higher ground, allow yourself to float to shore. There will be people lost and homeless. Stand in alliances of truth that are universal, not man-made, godly truths of love and righteousness, rightness. Jesus, I need your help. Jesus says to me, I need your help. I can't do this alone. Get your life in order for the coming days. The plot on earth is thickening. I was taken to red zones, which are uninhabitable zones. Soldiers marching in. Mid-September, this is when I wrote this. And if those of you are listening to this and you're not in the wake of the hurricane area, we've had military troops and Army Corps of Engineers and FEMA people coming in, and I do not mean to imply that these are bad people. They're just doing their jobs, and I've heard wonderful things about how they have done their jobs in many from many different people. So I'm not implying that these people are bad. What I'm implying is this could be the aftermath of something that was done to us. And then, these heroes, in many ways they have come in. It's just an interesting juxtaposition of, being grateful, but also being aware of maybe the manipulations behind the scenes. I write, I have heartache. It's like the Last Supper. At this point, it's mid to late September. The troops will be coming in and take over. Things will fall as they will. All must fall before they start again. The beginning will be scrapings from the endings. And indeed, that's what we're experiencing right now. The beginnings are scrapings from the endings. And a dog was barking that day, trying to get my attention. I had feelings of anger that day. I was shown a different dimension. At that point, I thought of COVID, and I was sad that the current paradigm must end. And then there was a scene in the Akash that I had of a green militia plane and a no-fly zone. I got viscerally hot as I was sitting there and doing the Akashic work. Saw soldiers marching in, ground troops. There was a sense of helplessness. The Army Corps of Engineers. I was told, watch, but do not engage in the struggles. It's not necessary at this time for me to do so. All need to be counted in the end. Then I saw air confusion. I got a sense of this galactic federation of the world, which are beings above Earth that are monitoring us. And they were asking, what are these humans going to do next? Reconnaissance planes were overhead, air warfare, trouble seeing what was happening in Asheville. This is all stuff that I'm pulling out of days before the hurricane. How long will I stay? I asked. Then on 9/23, which is a couple days before the hurricane, the song "Those Were the Days, My Friend," I thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day, yada yada. There will be rough seas. It's okay to travel, they told me, with a lantern. And then the 9/24 hurricane and windstorms, people in rain gear I saw. I think on that day it had already started raining. I was thinking it was in Costa Rica or Miami. Then I write something with no-fly zones, humanitarian efforts will be needed, flooding. And I was very focused on the Sudan area where I actually, during the day before the hurricane, when it had already started raining, I put a Sudan relief effort GoFundMe in the video notes of the Akashic Weather Report. Really was focusing on Africa. Galactic Federation of the world are watching, abundant resources within the earth. Storm clouds, cantankerous weather. This is the next day. Watch the winds, they'll change direction. Plotting in the back alley, deals. Asheville doesn't feel good at all. Clouds in the face of God rising. Some will be in a place of love and others will be in a place of fear. You need to get out of your head and into your heart. Don't be afraid to speak up. Speak up when you disagree with how something is being handled. Silence is its own type of evil. Then this is the 26th. This is it's raining. It will continue to rain, I'm told, for several days. Watch for flash flooding. The tickles of tomorrow will rest in the today's draconian times of oppression. Asheville felt negative. O come all ye faithful. The seas will be turbulent, but you're in a sturdy boat. Let's see. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I already read this one. So I'm just going to flash back to July because I missed this sheet. So this is back in July. This is before I started putting out videos. Lost power, the lights will go on and off, the light will be dark and the dark will be light. The power will go off for longer periods in the future. Be prepared. And this is around the time, or I think it was maybe August, July or August. I felt a need to get a second rain barrel. So at that time I got another rain barrel and I felt like an attack was on my throat, my ability to speak. July 17th, reconnaissance planes. You cannot fix a problem on the outside, just the inside. July, I was given a message, there's trolls working underground. The 26th of July, soldiers marching into Asheville to create peace. Be aware of what is ahead. Containers will be held for those who witness. Past events from like an Atlantis are going to be present in today's. Do not cower from the truths that are now being made known. Do not doubt these words. And then I had like this ringing in my ear. Do not doubt these words. Military complex seeded throughout your country. They do not have your best interests at heart. Clouds of hope and disaster fuels of change. Poison, you will know it when you get it. So this is kind of a weird thing that happened. Turn my video on for a second. A weird thing that happened. It's kind of hard to, weird thing that happened to me back in July. I got a message, poison, you'll be given poison and you'll know it when you get it. And so I gave up drinking in 2012. It's a story in itself, a shamanic story, like so many of my life events have been. But I quit drinking in 2012. And I made a promise to Mother Mary that I wouldn't drink again if she brought my little dog, back unscathed, and he was gone. So, and indeed, he came back, and it was like the happiest moment in my life and the most unhappiest moment. But anyway, I haven't drank since then. I was told you will get poison, you will be given poison, and you'll know when you get it. And I went to this euchre tournament or euchre meetup, and I asked for a seltzer water. And to make a long story short, I was given hard seltzer and I drank it, and I didn't, I wasn't sure why it tasted so sweet, and, got a buzz. And then I got home and I was like, oh boy, you'll be given poison and you'll know it when you get it. And it was just a very marked time for me that day when I was like, okay, you need to start paying attention to signs. Like this was a warning for you to really take notice of what's happening in your life and what foot you're stepping forward with, in each step, and to heed the messages that are coming from the divine. There will be no avoiding what is next. The river of change is upon you. Seek shelter. Literally and figuratively, they said, write it down. Be aware of those who are wolves, who come in sheep's clothing. They dwell everywhere. The earth will be uneven thereafter. It hasn't happened yet. And Jesus said, don't worry. So indeed, I would say that the earth in Asheville is not even after the hurricane. The streets will be filled with despair. People will be looking for guidance. I said, can I bypass this situation? And I'm told not entirely. I get a message of destruction and death. Many ET groups are here and they'll be watching. And then August 17th, I don't know if I put a video out, if I had started these videos on August 17th. I'm just going to read this piece to you. Asheville, Tempest, crosswalk off a ledge, sobering news, Solute. So it's almost SOLUTE, almost like solution, the sobering news, new beginnings must have endings. Desperation will be seen on the faces of some, and then I was told many. Lights will flicker on and off. Rats in the streets and water. Something about water. Water, or watch out for changes as they'll be coming fast. Sewage, step out. I ask, can I step out of this? They're saying not entirely. Be prepared for many things will happen at once. Be aware of those who come in to fix it. So anyway, had to put this out there. Why did I have to put this out there? It's almost like my grandmother was saying to one of my little cousins who was little, I think when this little event happened, the lights are flickering on right now. I see you, I know it was you, and just held that truth. And I think it made her feel better about confronting this deception. And I don't think she needed to do anything about it. Like she told my mother, but she didn't tell this little one's mom, and she didn't ask for them to give back whatever they took, I don't think. So sometimes I think we just need to hold our truth, and my truth is all this information came to me over a period of weeks that really pointed to there's more going on under the surface than we'd like to realize or we even realize. So thanks for coming today. Next video is going to be much more lighthearted. And I look forward to co-creating our next reality as we look at the former one with open eyes. However, our open eyes are showing us that reality.